right, welcome back to the Revisionist Almanac, now a proud member of the Movie Archer Podcast Network, where we take aim at modern entertainment. I'm Andrew, and for the very first time, I am so excited to be joined by both of my new team members we've added to the show. You're going to recognize, of course, the European correspondent, Heather Stewart, and making her on-screen debut, we've got Amanda Nethington, who can be found at the handle Oscar Upsets on all the socials. Are you ready to do this, the two of you? Are you excited? I'm excited.
Of course.
Yep.
Amanda looks like she's sweating already.
I'm doing my best.
Just the lighting she's got going on in the studio.
Yeah.
I'm just happy there's no more void. I have people that I can see and engage with, and we can have conversation. Okay, so what we're doing here, this is going to be kind of a catch-up. We'll probably do these things on like a quarterly basis where we'll get together, the three of us, every 3 months and kind of assess where we're at in that moment in time. Right now, obviously, we're doing this early January, so we can really kind of reflect on 2025. And then we'll do what is my favorite thing to do in the world. We're going to do some Oscar predictions. I'm so excited. I'm just brimming with anticipation for that. Okay. Let's start off, though. So I want to take like a 30,000-foot view of the 2025 film year as a whole. I'm on record a lot with my opinion, so you don't need to hear from me. But I'm really fascinated with the two of you and what your takeaway is from 2025. Now, Amanda, people know a lot about you on social media in terms of you looking at Oscars history, but I don't think too many people know where you stand on contemporary film. So what's your big takeaway from 2025 through all the movies that you watched?
Yeah, I was trying to find something like big and profound from 2025, but all I could think of was like compared to every other year, because I've been doing these like chronologically, this is probably the year I've seen the most of them in theaters with other people. And so it's just felt really fun. I feel like I've had a lot of really good like theatrical experiences this year that I definitely didn't have last year. Maybe I just wasn't seeing the right things last year. I don't know. I feel like vibe wise last year was very dramatic, and this year has felt very fun for me, at least.
Well, and you got to do like a ridiculous amount of movies at the St. Louis Film Festival.
Yes.
You basically like lived there for a week, I think, right?
Yeah. And I had never been before. That was my first year at the festival. And I was like, well, we're just going to see all the shorts. We're going to see some documentaries. We're going to, so it
was
a lot.
How many do you think you saw in total, if you just had to like put a number on it?
I remember I counted it up. It was probably like 25 to 30 shorts. I saw one documentary and maybe 5 full length. Most of those were like big releases. Like I saw Hamnet there and Sentimental Value, but a couple other ones.
You did see the closer, right? Is This Thing On the very last night?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. Okay. That's the one that I haven't had. I haven't gotten my hands on. I don't think it releases here till next week or something like that. But you were kind of high on that movie, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. I went into it with no expectation because it was Bradley Cooper, but it was funny. And I had a good time with it. Like he actually did something that I enjoyed, so that was nice. It wasn't like spectacular, but
so you're not a Bradley Cooper person in general.
Not really. I haven't seen a ton of his stuff, but the things I have seen have not been great.
Okay, so you're with me on Maestro. That's good to know.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, all right. You can stay on the team. Okay, Heather, what's your big takeaway from 2025? If there's something you could extract from the year.
Yeah, I mean, we discussed this on another collab, didn't we, a few weeks ago? And my big takeaway, the first thing that come to mind was it was better than last year. I think the highs were very high. I didn't see a lot of, in fact, I didn't see anything really that I actively disliked, unlike previous years in recent memory. And so that's my first comment. And what I've really appreciated seeing a lot more of this year, or maybe I'm just noticing it more, is the creatives behind the films getting out there. And we saw this a lot during the actor strike and the writer strike, that the directors were the ones that kind of had to be out there talking about their films. But I think that's really been embraced a lot more this year as well. And I think that's really interesting. And it's making people, like the general public, actually care about films a bit more, I think. And that's why it's so horrible what the whole Netflix and Warner Brothers thing with the 17-day theatrical window. I think that's just terrible. But there's been like actual talk from normies about Ryan Coogler and his use of the IMAX, and And obviously, Christopher Nolan next year will have this year, good grief. Sorry, we're in January. This year we'll have the Odyssey. And, he's also, it's like the IMAX, and now people understand what they mean with that. And that's just getting people to care. And that's really been something I've noticing a lot with people out there talking about their process, and and really inviting the audience into that creative and filmmaking sort of process, to repeat myself. That's been great to see. And I think just generally continuing to create films and narratives that are very much with the zeitgeist and tying into what's happening, sadly, in the world today. Everything just feels so relevant, which is well, people have got things to say and they're out there saying it.
I tried really hard to come up with something a little bit different that I'm not on record with yet, and I'm going to surprise the two of you with this. So I was looking at my top 20, and I was like, what's the theme of my top 20 this year? So I apologize for the language, but here's my 2025 theme. Parenting is fucking hard. Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, Weapons, 28 Years Later, Sorry Baby, Die My Love, Sentimental Value, If I Had Legs I'd Kick You, Frankenstein. It's parents going through shit. That was what 2025 was for a lot of it for me. Maybe it's because I am a parent now that I pull more of those movies into my vortex and the things that I love the most. But it just felt like there were a lot of movies about dealing with parenthood and becoming a father, becoming a mother, what you lose of yourself once you have children, generational trauma. There was just a lot to unpack in 2025 as a parent, I think. And so that was my big takeaway.
Yeah, there's certainly no sugar, not the usual sugar coating that you get, which always drives me mad. Or if they don't sugarcoat it, they try and make you feel that the person who is having the issues is the problem. Whereas this one, it was much more like, this is the way it is. And it's fine to say, as Rose Byrne does, and If I Had Legs I'd Kick You, maybe not everybody is cut out to be a parent. Hard truth.
I mean, they let these characters be like flawed humans in pretty much every single one of those roles, and it was a refreshing year to see parenthood be treated as a hard thing, a real thing. There's also a lot of love that you get out of it, obviously, but it's got its ebbs and its flows. There's good days and there's bad days and there's hard days and there's easy days, and so that was my big takeaway. Okay, next question I want to ask you, and we're going to kind of look into award season. So we're here in January. We're about to be on the precipice of, we're going to be in the thick of it with award season. We'll all three be very much following what's going on. Before we get into some of our predictions, I wonder, is there a movie you're rooting for this year? Is there an actor or an actress that you're hoping to see win a bunch of awards? Amanda, I'll start with you. What's the movie you're rooting for this year, and what's the actor and or actress that you're really supporting and hoping they're claiming all the hardware?
Yeah, I'm very excited for Marty Supreme, because I went into Marty Supreme expecting to hate Timothée Chalamet. And so when I came out of that and I was just like in the clouds, I felt like, I'm like, we gotta do something for him. I need to see him winning things. If he'll get there, not sure, but I'm excited for that one. I'm also excited just for Sinners, because I would consider Sinners probably my top movie of the year. And now, since it came out kind of early, hopefully it'll get something.
Where do you stand on, you're certainly more relevant to today's generation than Heather or myself, who are in our middle age at this point, but where do you stand on Chalamet's press tour? Because it feels like it's definitely geared more towards Gen Z, and it's starting to turn people off that are a little older, who are kind of tired of the shtick that he's doing. Are you enjoying the press tour? Do you think it's too much? Where do you stand on it?
I think it's fun. I like the jackets. I like the thing you sent me when he's on the sphere. I'm like, this is ridiculous. I don't know if I've seen much else. I'm probably not like in the know on social media as much as other young people, but I'm enjoying it. I don't think it's like too much or anything.
What about you, Heather? Are you on board with Timmy and his promotional tour?
I have not seen Marty Supreme, so I think it's a bit much. It's a bit cringe, but his job at the moment now is to get people into the theaters, and it's working. So like the box office for Marty Supreme is incredible for that kind of a movie by those directors. And I know that, yeah, it's kind of proving that Timmy is that movie star, and you can think what you like, but it is what it is. And he's getting people to go and watch his films. It will be interesting to see if he goes into the full campaign mode when that promotion is over, because his SAG speech last year, that did kind of set up you like noses out of joint. There was people that loved it and said, yep, everybody wants to win awards, go for it. Like, sure, like just speak your truth. But there was a few where we're like, oh, possibly express such hopes and dreams. What are you doing? Don't be so arrogant. And then he's recently said in the last couple of weeks, like, I've had some, I've put in the work, I've put in, great performances, and he's right. But then you look at other people who have done the same and have never got the top prize, or how long they made Leo wait, etc., etc. So we'll see how that's, if he switches his mindset from this out there promotion, getting it in people's faces, getting the name out there, people like, oh, okay, I'll go and see it, just because they're aware of it. They might not even like the promotional stuff he's doing, but they are seeing Marty Supreme and they're seeing, I'll go and see it. If he makes that change to then the campaigning and the serious campaigning and starts interviewing different, doing slightly different Q&As, we shall see. Yeah, it's not like there's not good alternatives, and we'll come to that as we kind of talk about our predictions and everything.
Yeah, I certainly understand people who are getting turned off by it. However, I'm trying to keep perspective with, again, like today's culture, and I think he is connecting with younger people and getting them to the theaters. And there was a video I saw yesterday with Tyler, the Creator, who's one of his co-stars in the film, and Tyler was talking about how he loves how Chalamet has this confidence in himself that Tyler was sort of like, the reason people don't like when Chalamet's doing this is that they don't have their own self-confidence, and they're sort of not enjoying the fact that somebody else is out there who's just like comfortable in their own skin and happy to be like, can acknowledge their own work as being good. And I thought that was an interesting thing, because I suffer from imposter syndrome every single day I walk the earth. And so I was like, oh, it must be really nice to be Timmy and like be comfortable being who you are and like embracing all of it, going to Knicks games. And people think he's SD Kid, this contemporary rapper, and there's just like, he's got this whole brand around him, and I love like seeing him just like, he's having fun with it, and I appreciate that. I do wonder, Heather, to your point, will he shift into, is he going to take like the serious road with campaigning, or is he going to maybe he's going to create a new version of campaigning in this promotional tour where he's just going to be himself and authentic to what he's doing, and it's going to shift the paradigm of what people do in a campaign? It's possible. I don't know.
I mean, he is quite charming. Like, I saw him in Graham Norton the other week, and he is even, there was, I think it was, he was sitting next to Emma Thompson, and, very charming, very charming. He's just there existing. And, they had a bit of banter back and forth, and he didn't get a Samson and Delilah reference, which I just think, okay, fine. And she was like, okay, cutting the hair off. Okay, never mind. But he didn't care. Like, it was like, yeah, whatever. I have no idea what you're talking about. But he was just being authentic rather than trying to pretend. And
well, that's the thing with it is,
yeah,
there's an authenticity to him. Whereas when you look at somebody like The Rock's very polished in his PR, and he like studies the people he's going to be interviewed by, so he can like say, oh, I know your kid's name is X, Y, and Z, and it feels very fake, even though he's trying really hard to connect with people. And I feel like Timothy's just, he is who he is, and he's enjoying that process. So Heather, what's the movie you're rooting for, or who's the actor or actress that you're rooting for in this award season?
Yeah, so I'm on the Sinners train as well. I just hope it doesn't go home empty-handed, because in all the categories where it seems to be like top 2, right, it's up against One Battle, and it's going to be a question of whether One Battle just steamrolls all of it. So I currently do have Sinners above One Battle for something like cinematography or score, but there is always the chance that we just like go down the ballot and we're just ticking off one battle for everything. And that's what I'm worried about. We've seen it plenty of times. Recently we've seen it with, Martin Scorsese's last few films. They've had like 10, 11 Oscar nominations and they've won nothing. But they've been maybe number 2 or 3 in all those categories. But they've just had, they've come up against Oppenheimer or Parasite, Once Upon a Time Hollywood, whatever it was going up against in 2019. So that's a fear I have. I don't think it will happen. I think it possibly will win those 2. But as I say, I'm just really got everything crossed that it doesn't happen. On the other side, I'm also kind of just really hoping that Sorry Baby sneaks in somewhere. I'd love to see it be that. Well, I say lone screenplay. I'd actually love to see it get more, but that lone original screenplay, there's always something a little bit quirky in there, and I would just love to see that get recognized. And in documentary feature, I will be rooting for The Perfect Neighbor, which just blew me away when I saw it. Very emotional watch, and I will see if it gets in because there's a kind of a snobbery around found footage. Apparently, I've been hearing. So, hopefully that gets in. And if it gets in, I think there's, it's got to be a top candidate to win. So I'm rooting for those 3 in particular. And in terms of performer, for me, it's, and I'm going to completely muck up the name again. It's Inga Ibsdotter Lilias from Sentimental Value. I've said this to both of you. I think she's possibly my singular, preferred or favorite performance this year. She's the heart of that film. She is what I remembered, and her performance has just stayed with me since I saw that film back in June. Not to rub it in, but I saw it quite early. But,
you mean to rub it in?
Yeah, you've seen it now. It's good. So I think she's been getting a lot of critics' love, which is great. So hopefully that can carry over to getting the name recognition and getting her into, the industry awards. So fingers crossed for her there because she is magnificent in that film. Hey, Paul Thomas Anderson said the same thing the other day. So
I'm going to make it 3 for. I'll make it 3 for 3. Sinners is definitely the movie I'm supporting full force, but I'm terrified that it's going to walk away empty-handed. Maybe original screenplay, it's got a shot. I don't know. I do think Sorry Baby is going to be in contention in original screenplay as well. I don't know. Yeah, I'm concerned that Sinners came out too early, peaked too early, and is just going up against some really heavyweight competition in the categories it's in. I do think it's going to get a lot of nominations, to your point, Heather.
Yeah.
And then I'm on Team Timmy as well. I think Chalamet's who I'm rooting for, just because I don't want him to have to follow the Leo route of chasing this thing consistently when I feel like he's been putting in performances that are of the caliber of an Oscar winner. Like I still contend, I think last year he should have won for Dylan, and I think that he's better this year. I know you disagree. I preferred him to Adrian Brody personally, and I guarantee you we would have got a better acceptance speech if he was on that stage. Definitely shorter. So I'm rooting for Timmy. I'm rooting for Sinners. I also hope for the Perfect Neighbor. I hope it gets into editing, because that would be a really cool. I don't know if a documentary's ever made it into the editing category, but it is certainly deserving of an editing nomination. So, do we think this is going to be one of those exciting award season where there's going to be unpredictability, or are we predicting that it's going to be like Oppenheimer, like Parasite, where this juggernaut movie just comes through and steamrolls? Amanda, do you have any hope that there's going to be excitement and drama, or do you think we already kind of know what's going to win?
I think in probably half of our major categories we know what's going to win, especially in Best Picture. I was kind of looking, this is not real data, this is just me looking at numbers and shapes and stuff, but the last time we saw this sort of sweep at this like first half of the award season was with Schindler's List. So I'm like, where are we going with this? Is there a possibility it could go anywhere else? I doubt it. But I'm hoping maybe like at least one or two of the acting categories will be exciting, but I'm not sure.
Now, you're sort of driven by data in all of your assessment of movies. are you already like, do you analyze data in real time for contemporary Oscar seasons, or do you typically wait until they're over and then start mining them after they're completed?
I do. This is ridiculous. I will probably start next year's in March.
Okay.
Because I like to watch. I started this year kind of looking like every month I'll check to see where things are at, and I'll kind of plot them and see what's falling off, what's coming into like the best picture category. So it's an ongoing thing. I don't do a lot, especially for these like recent ceremonies right afterwards. I give them a break. So I haven't looked at the past couple of years in a while, but I'll get back to it.
You're certainly aware of what's been trending this year, though, or in 2025.
Yes.
You've been keeping an eye on it like month to month.
Yes.
Okay. That's why I love the two of you. We're all like Excel data freaks, so I appreciate that. Okay, Heather.
Cat.
Our first cat cameo.
Sorry, there's like a window right above here, and she likes to jump down, and so she keeps jumping up and down. She's really annoying. Can you
What did
settle
you think
down?
of Sorry Baby with the cat?
We haven't seen Sorry Baby, unfortunately.
Need to watch
I still have a few I have to
Okay.
catch up on.
It's the cat movie of the year. If I had to just off the top of my head,
I'll put it on for her.
Okay.
And me.
Heather, what about you? Are you expecting any excitement or drama, or do you think it's going to be a boring season?
I think your examples of Parasite and Oppenheimer were Oppenheimer more so, but it had that sound win for Zone of Interest, which was, that was great. So it wasn't quite across the board. Parasite, though, that was not a done deal. That was, if we remember back, it was very much 1917 was up there. Hollywood was up there for a number of awards. I think it was during the night when it had been gathering steam with, been winning critics. It had been gathering steam when then it won SAG Ensemble, of course, as well, which was a big sign. But I don't necessarily think going in, because I was looking at my chats with my brother from that year, and I think we were still very much like, I remember being surprised when Bong Joon-ho won director. Everybody was surprised at that. And then you were like, oh, maybe it is going to win film. I think everybody thought Mendes was, potentially Parasite with film, but Mendes would take director. And yeah, so I think that was more kind of in the course of the night, we realized that it was going to be that, incredible mini sweep as well. But definitely going in, there was certainly a degree still of uncertainty. Anyway, this year, I think it's hard to say, just simply because at the moment, it's really just been the regional critics weighing in. We've got Critics' Choice tomorrow, so we're recording pre-Critics' Choice, so anything we say here could be completely although Critics' Choice, of course, we have to say is not industry, so it will still be different. Then we've got Golden Globes, which is also not officially industry. It's there's no overlap with the Oscars body. So, but then the industry guilds start weighing in with their nominations throughout January. So I think that's when we'll really start seeing where everything is falling into place. This time last year, Marianne Jean-Baptiste was leading actress of everything because she'd won so many. Not as many as Rose Byrne seems to be winning, or others in their respective categories, like Benicio del Toro. I am still nervous for Rose Byrne, despite her really, sweeping pretty much so far, because it's just a difficult. It's a small film. You just need to get people to see that. People are like reassuring me a little bit more and saying, no, don't worry, she's really, the film is being seen, etc. But we'll see if she gets in. I hope she gets in. So I at the moment, as things stand, I think it looks to be more exciting than this year, apart from in film and director. Okay, but the acting categories, to your point, Amanda, I think we could certainly see, hopefully, some variety, but who knows? Maybe they just all settle on Benicio, which could because I think is possibly, if I'm looking at what I've got here of the acting categories, I think is possibly the most likely one, in my opinion, to carry over from critics to industry. But, I don't even know why. But yeah.
we'll get to that in a moment. I think picture and director are almost being chiseled in at this point, which is, I like a little bit more excitement, but whatever. I do think all 4 acting categories are quite open, and I think the screenplay field is open. I think this will be the most interesting original score category we'll have in a long, long time when we get to that one. So I do think below the top 2 categories, there's going to be a lot of interest, but unfortunately, most people are drawn towards director and picture, and I think that is already kind of set in place, and we'll get to that here right now. So let's get to what is my favorite thing in the world to do. I live to do this. I'm jumping on the bandwagon right now. We're going to do way too early Oscar predictions. Okay, we're just going to look at the 6 categories that I normally cover on an Almanac episode, just to kind of keep uniform efficiency. So let's start in supporting actress. We're recording this on January 3rd for people, okay? Don't jump us if we're wrong on what we're picking now. It's January 3rd. Okay, so best supporting actress. We'll just go around and we'll see where we all kind of feel should win, not what we think, or what will win, not what we think should win. So I'll start us off in supporting actress. I think, and I'm really just trying to will this into existence, to be honest with you. I don't follow the precursors the way that Heather certainly does. I'm going to put my money down on Amy Madigan in Weapons. I just love that performance so much, and I think it's such a fun thing. I want horror to have more awards, and I think that that would be just a really fun Oscars win if it happens. Madigan has kind of been like in the wilderness for a lot of the last like 20 or 30 years as Ed Harris's wife, and it's nice to see people like re-celebrate her career and how great she is. And so hopefully this is a renaissance late in her life for Amy Madigan. So Amy Madigan, Weapons, that's my prediction for supporting actress. What about you, Amanda?
I promise I wrote all of these down before today. I also had Amy Madigan because not that I don't like all of the other like supporting actress possibilities, but hers is the only one that has stuck with me still. Mm-hmm. And I think given what we saw last year with The Substance, I think she has a fair chance.
Now, for people who don't know your taste in film, are you somebody who likes horror, or are you typically averse to that genre?
I wouldn't necessarily say averse, but I definitely do not watch it.
Okay.
I had to have, like, I just saw Weapons maybe like a week ago because somebody's like, you really need to watch this. I'm like, okay, fine. And I did really enjoy it. So, but most of the time, most horror I have not seen.
So you would have no issue if she wins? Like, you're satisfied with that victory?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right, so that's 2 for Madigan. Heather, where do you think this Oscars is going to go?
Well, as I say, we cannot really say right yet. So, no, I don't mean to be like weird about this, but I really don't know what to do with Ariana Grande because
I think she's dead.
Yeah,
she's actually not. Do not start rumors. You know, she's sure she's alive.
She just needs
and
to
well.
eat. She needs some food.
I think that the fact that the film is not doing great and it's not getting great reviews, that doesn't help. Did you see the letter she wrote to Critics' Choice?
I skimmed it yesterday.
Yeah, no, that is really bad taste. I mean, I don't like that. I think that's actually potentially backfired because that's kind of like, I don't know. I mean, again, everybody wants awards, sure, right? But anyway, I don't know what to do with her. I had her right in for a long time just because like the culmination of the 2 films, not because she's necessarily better in the second film, which I haven't seen, so I have no idea. But just, you know, she was close for the first one, etc. I don't know. I don't know what to do. The sensible part of me says that I should just say Madigan because she's just going to sweep. That's the thing. I think if Madigan, to win, she needs to sweep. She needs to go from critics, and she needs to go Critics' Choice, and she needs to get Golden Globe, and she needs to keep that up. Otherwise, she's not going to win. Okay, so I'll do a I mean, sure, put in Madigan. I'm fine with it. It's okay. I also have Taylor as my could win as well, and who I want to win because I've done a will, could, should, and Inga. I can't butcher her last names again. Sorry, Inga for Sentimental Value is my should win.
When we get really close to the Oscars, maybe a week or 2 in advance, we'll hopefully try to like reconvene the 3 of us. And I think that would be a good point when we really know what's set in terms of nominations and everything. We can look at here's what we definitely think will win. Here's what we definitely think should win based on what's out there. Yeah. Okay, so that's 3 for Matt again. I love that. Supporting actor now. Amanda, who do you have that's leading right now to win this?
Leading in my heart would be Sean Penn, but that's obviously not going to happen. So my leading is definitely Benicio del Toro.
Why do you think Benicio's getting so much more love than Sean in the film?
I don't know, because I found Sean Penn's to be so much funnier, and I think that's what people are getting out of Benicio's performance, is that he's like the funny one of it, but I thought Sean Penn was like the heart of that film, so I really don't know.
Okay. Heather, where do you stand on this category?
I agree. I think Benicio's sweeping. I think he's the closest to a sweep we're going to get. And I don't know why, but it's fine. No, I love him in it. I love pretty much everything of the film. But it's just really bizarre to me, because people have been saying, oh, it's because Benicio is playing like this lovely guy. And I'm like, yeah, but please look at the run of supporting actor wins. It's the place we have the villains getting recognized, not for Schindler's List, but, we do have, we have the 2007, 2008, 2009 run of Javier Bardem, the Joker,
Ledger.
Heath Ledger, and then Christoph Waltz. So, this is not a problem. And then J.K. Simmons, a few years later, like this is not the reason. Maybe it's just, do we need to give another award to Sean Penn? Do we even like Sean Penn? Hey, we like Benicio. I don't know. It's just really surprising to me, like, that he's just sweeping the critics at the moment. But yeah, I think that'll just continue.
I'm in the same camp. I think it seems like a foregone conclusion that he's going to win. I don't understand it. And the only thing I can kind of process is I've talked to some family members who have seen the movie like around holidays. They definitely enjoy that middle section of the film the most, when he and Leo are like Leo's just trying to charge his phone, and that like hour of the film is definitely the most crowd pleasing for people, I think. But I don't think that's
mean anything.
I know. I don't know. Sean Penn's arc in that film is so fascinating and so interesting. And he's both like, he's repulsive, and yet he's also weirdly sympathetic in what he's trying. Like, if you put yourself in his brain, like, I can kind of like understand why he's doing what he's doing to get to his end goal. And I don't know. It's hard to pull off a role that strange. And I think Sean really nails it. All I can fathom is he's already got 2 Oscars to his name, and that people just don't want to put him in the camp of 3.
Yeah, Benicio also has 1. So if we're doing it like that, let's give it to Stellan Skarsgård.
There you go. No, Benicio seems like he's running away on a freight train on this one. Okay, actress. Heather, who are you going to put down for actress right now?
Yeah, okay. So this is another one. Intelligent people or guesses would potentially say Rose Byrne, just because in the critics, but again, we saw this all last year with Marianne Jean-Baptiste, and she didn't even get nominated. If she can get in and she can get people seeing the film, she's got a chance to be that lone acting win. However, I am not going to put my money where my mouth is right now, and I'm going with the safe pick of Jessie Buckley. But I want Rose to win.
Yeah, I'm concerned that that film is so hard to watch, and it's going to turn people off. Just talking about If I Had Legs, if people haven't seen
I'd love to kick you.
Yeah. That movie's really abrasive intentionally, and I just don't think it's going to connect with. I feel like that's going to be a movie when these voters are going to pass it off to their assistant to watch it now that they have to log what movies they've seen. I just don't think they're going to go out of their way to watch that movie, and I think that's going to hurt Rose Byrne's chances. I'm going to agree with you, Heather. I think Jessie Buckley seems locked in to win this one. Of the 3 of us, Amanda likes Hamnet the most based on our collective reviews.
Yes.
I am all on board with Jessie Buckley being an Oscar winner based on her career, but I still have a hard time reconciling with this being the best performance of the field, which this is my favorite category this year. I think it's the deepest and most interesting, with Rose Byrne, Chase Infinity. I know she's not going to be in the mix, but Jennifer Lawrence is still my favorite performance this year in Die My Love. But I'm going to go with Jessie Buckley. I think she's probably going to win here. And I'm not going to be super up in arms about it because I love Jessie Buckley. Amanda, are you in agreement with the two of us that she's the front runner?
Yeah, I also have not seen If I Had Legs yet, so
Okay.
I can't speak to that. So based on the ones I've seen, she seems like the sure winner there.
So why is that movie a 5-star movie for you?
I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that I did see it at the film festival, and so I'm surrounded by like like hundreds of sobbing people. And I brought my partner with it. Even she was like, "This is a 5-star movie." And she doesn't really like long dramas, like melodramatic stuff like that. And I don't know. I don't even have kids, so I don't. It really just hit me. Plus, I loved the score of it. It looked beautiful. It was a whole thing.
It's a beautifully made film. I think it's because Amanda's a heart and we don't, Andrew. I think that's clearly what it is.
I'm not even usually a crier, so like I don't know why this one in particular really got me this year.
I think it's a mixture of the heartless nature of Heather and myself and the fact that everyone I've talked to who loves this movie has seen it in a theater, and they keep telling me like this is a movie that lends itself to theatrical versus watching at home, and maybe that's it. Is
with that score swelling. I mean, I did wonder when they start with the globe at the end, the globe scene, and that amazing shot like through the door, and you see the crowds going in, and the score is swelling. I was like, I'm even getting goosebumps right now. Goosebumps thinking now about it. Now, see, that worked for me. But that was the last 20 minutes, quarter of an hour, and was less to do with the spoilers, kid dying than Anyway.
I also wonder if it's the order I saw the performances. Like this was the last of the big lead actress performances I'd seen, and so I was already so high on Jennifer Lawrence. I was so high on Rose Byrne and Chase, and so I was like, okay, well Buckley's great, but I don't know if she's transforming in a way that the others were for me. Yeah,
she felt more by the numbers than.
This feels like a very 1990s Oscar win.
Yeah. Oh God, we're such Hamnet haters. No, like it's an incredibly crafted film. I would put Chloe Zhao into the director lineup in a heartbeat. She does an amazing job. The production design is incredible. The costumes are great. The cinematography. So we're not hating on it. Really, it just didn't hit us emotionally. So we need to clarify this before we get like everybody shouting at us.
Send your Hamnet hate mail my way. I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So
Hamnet haters. We're not.
We're 3 for 3 agreeing in these categories. Let's see if it continues on. I promise we did not all share our opinions beforehand. Best actor, I'm locked in on Timothée Chalamet. I'm not going to be mad if Leo wins. It feels like Leo's like the second choice to do it, because I do think it would be very nice if Leo on his resume had Oscar winner for not just The Revenant, but also One Battle After Another. And that the second watch of One Battle, Leo was the performance that stood out to me more in terms of, I don't know, I took a lot more from him the second time around than I did the first time, when I was much more magnetically drawn to Sean Penn and Chase in their performance. But I do think Marty Supreme does not work without Timothée Chalamet. Heather, when you eventually get around to that movie, I think you're going to see this is the performance for people who don't think they like Chalamet. This will win them over, I believe. And so I think he deserves it. Amanda, where do you stand on Best Actor?
I feel the same way. As not a Timothée Chalamet hater, but definitely one that I haven't been impressed by before. This was amazing to me. I think if Leo didn't have The Revenant, this feels like his win. It's a great performance. It's just, it wasn't my favorite. I know that there's a lot of but there's a lot of talk about Blue Moon with Ethan Hawke. I haven't seen Blue Moon yet, so I don't know where that's going. I just know his name just keeps popping up for me.
I would love to see Hawke in the 5. I think he has a pretty strong chance to get in there, and that would be a cool performance to see in the 5. Heather, you have not seen Marty Supreme, so if you give Timmy the win, you're obviously basing it solely on what you think is playing out right now. Where do you think Best Actor's going?
Up until a couple of days ago, I was thinking, no, this is going to be another nomination for Timmy. I am, due to the box office success, which I think does play a role in some shape or form, and the fact that he's now actually starting to win a few more critics than he was at the beginning. So people are actually now, they're finally getting to see the film. And I think that's been not everybody can get these early screeners or go to festivals and things. So now these a lot of the regional critics are catching up with it now. It's on wide release, I think, and giving him their wins. So he's got that momentum. Again, we'll see how if the campaign changes or if it has any effect or whatever. Maybe he does just sweep as well. I don't think he'll sweep. I would really love to see Leo win this, just because I think he's incredible in one battle, and I want him to have a win for something that's not just the Revenant. The thing with Leo is I struggle with other past years. So I know he's overdue on paper when he actually won for the Revenant. I'm struggling to figure out which of his roles I would have awarded for in that individual year, though. I mean, I
think it's Wolf of Wall Street.
There always was a decent alternative. It wasn't always the one that actually did win, but there was always somebody else, because he's just so consistently good. That's the thing. So you take him for granted a bit. So I would quite like to see him win. I am also on board with Ethan Hawke because I love Blue Moon. What a surprise. Talking in rooms, lots of it. But he's incredible in that. And I also really loved Wagnamura in The Secret Agent. I think actor this year is incredibly strong, because we also have Michael B. Jordan up there. And there's a few other ones, Andrew, that I know you named in your top 5 for the year that I have not seen either. So it's really strong this year, and I think from what I've seen, and I haven't seen Timmy yet, but from what I've seen, anything that comes to mind is deserving. So I think Ethan Hawke would be lovely, just because I think he's so overdue. Really, he really is, because First Reformed, there's his win there. Yeah, I don't know. Part of me is like anti-Chalamet just because. Sorry, I'm not being a hater, but.
Not being a hater, but I am.
I want Ethan to win one before Timmy wins. I'm so sorry. And then Timmy can go and do a biopic when he's like 50. A mid-biopic when he's 50 and then win for that.
Put on a fat suit like Gary Oldman did.
Yeah, or I don't know. Go and eat a bear or something.
Okay. I have a feeling we're probably going to group director and picture together in terms of like alignment, but we'll find out. So let's just go ahead and just rattle those off together. Amanda, who's your best director, and what is your best picture prediction?
Yeah, it is the same. It's Paul Thomas Anderson in one battle after another.
Yeah. Do you think if you had to pick like a number 2, maybe a director or a picture that could usurp that, is there anyone, or does this just feel like it is locked in at this point?
I feel like the easy answer going with my heart would be Sinners for both of them, but I don't know if it's maybe the number 2 for real or just in my heart.
Okay, Heather, do you also agree that PTA One Battle is a lock in both categories?
Yes, currently, but I also have a weird thing that Marty Supreme is picking up steam. It depends how that plays, like with general audiences, of course, as well, just really across the board. I don't know how well it would do in a preferential. That's my one thing that makes me think actually it hasn't got a chance, because I think it's probably amongst older voters going to have a certain number that are going to put it in the bottom half. As I say, I haven't seen it, so I don't know. But just from the Safdie vibes and the on the go permanently, like, oh my God, let me breathe. That's what I think will keep it. And my concern with Sinners is, and I was saying this to a few people yesterday, is the BAFTA contingent. I'm really sorry, but like my fellow Brits have not been great with Black creatives. It's just the way it is. Denzel has never been nominated, so go figure. Wow. Yeah, so if it gets in at BAFTA, we'll see the long list for that fairly sure. But if it gets in at BAFTA, then I'm like, oh, actually, might actually have a chance. I don't know how well that will do on preferential. I mean, I know everybody seems to love it, but some people might be turned off by the vampires. I don't know. I think One Battle is the easy answer. The only potential I see maybe is actually, I don't think it's going to happen, is the whole narrative around Panahi. For it was just an accident, and he has been picking up I think pretty much the only person other than PTA to pick up some director awards at the moment is him. Whether that narrative continues and gives him any kind of chance, I don't know. But I think we're overthinking it. I think we're actually overthinking it, or I'm overthinking it. I think it's PTA and it's One Battle.
Yeah, I think One Battle's a lock-in picture. And then the only thing, to your point, Heather, I think if Panahi catches enough of a wave of momentum from, I mean, we were recording this on a day where some politically charged stuff is already happening in the United States. I just feel like if there's enough of a movement about sort of a rebelling against the government we have in place right now, and just like the idea of authoritarian regimes, I think that Panahi could catch some love. And if he were to win for Best Director, having seen it was just an accident, I think it would be very deserving. However, I think this is kind of the coronation of Paul Thomas Anderson's career, and that's probably going to be the narrative that plays out. So I'm picking PTA with a small chance to Panahi.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're just, as I say, I think we're overthinking it. It was like when I 2 years ago was like, oh, but this might happen, and Christopher Nolan might not win, and this was all the things that can happen, because I'm just trying to like not get all my expectations too high. When it was just like everybody's like, Heather, it's happening, come on, and I'm like, yes, but I think it's the same here.
It felt like last year felt like the year where there could have been a true split, where I thought Nora winning Best Picture and then Brady Corbet taking Director for The Brutalist would have made a lot of sense. Yeah. But the fact that they went hand in hand, I'm like, okay, it seems like they're pretty locked in on Director Picture together, and that just is what it is. Okay, so we have indeed 6 for 6 categories aligned exactly. So maybe that is to the point of how predictable this award season is. We'll find out. We'll try to look back on this as we get closer to the Oscars. We'll review our picks, see where we've changed a little bit. Thanks for sticking around for a minute. I'm Andrew. I no longer have to say this alone. We will see you next time.